from Create in Spain, and I'm making a video on SureCutsALot because some people are having difficulty in understanding how I managed to use SureCutsALot to do a print and cut without it going through Canvas and still using a Brother SNC Cutter. And I'm going to show you something that you really need to look at when you open SureCutsALot and you want to do this kind of thing. Go up to the top, and if you click on the SureCutsALot, you will see Preferences. So you click on Preferences and you go to Edit, and you have various preferences in here, regards, angles and numbers. Now the constraint angle isn't one that you need to worry about for this particular function. You have a nudge. Now in case you're wondering what nudge is when you have your position screen up, this one on the right hand side here, and the little arrows you get on there are nudge arrows. When it talks about arrow key increment, it's talking about the arrows on your computer or your laptop. So I have my nudge set to 0.1 centimeters, i.e. a millimeter, and I have my arrow key increment on 2 millimeters. And then once you've done that, you just click OK and it will save your settings for you. So if I want to do a print and cut, I need something to print. So I have a design which I have taken off of Pixabay, and I go up here to the trace function and I choose my image, and I've chosen this snowflake. Here we go. As it happens, my settings are correct. Now the reason that I have chosen this snowflake is because the image itself was in varying shades of a very pale blue. And it's the kind of thing that you might well need to trace, because if you print it, then the scan and cut may not actually scan it properly because it has no solid lines around the outside edge. Okay. So in this particular case, I'm using a monochrome. I've got my contrast set up pretty high. And down here, I've got smoothing set to 75, which is fairly high. Single line threshold we don't have to worry about because we're doing the outside of an image anyway. And break apart outlines, don't really need to have that on at the moment. What I do need to have on is the add image layer, because that will add the image to my design. And if I had a design with little bits in these pieces here or anywhere else, I would use blackout. In this particular case, I can click it, but it's not going to have any great effect on it because I don't have lots of little bits in here. So update the preview after you've changed any of your settings, and if you're happy, you click OK, and it's just going to work my design for me. So here we are. Here is my image and my cut lines are there. So I can go over to size menu and I can alter the dimensions. Now you might find there are some extra lines on here because I've not taken any great care over the trace, but you know, for the purpose of demonstration, it's fine. Need to make that smaller, and I'm just going to drag the corner in to make it smaller quicker. At the moment, you can see the darker lines, and those are the cut lines. But if I move it, everything moves. So what I need to do is to ungroup it. And now, if I move something, I click on here, and I'm going to just use my key arrows to do this. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see that I've moved the image, but I haven't moved the cut. You might expect that if you exported the file, that this would be in the same place as the print would be. Well, not quite. It doesn't work that way. If I take the lines, the cut lines, and I go over to this tab here, the position and size, I have to move those cut lines up 4 millimeters. Now each one of these is 1 mil. So 1, 2, 3, 4. My cut lines are moved up by 4. I need it to move to the left by 1 millimeter, so I press that one once. And then I go to File and I go to Export, and I can label it whatever name I want to give it. And I go down here, and instead of exporting as an SVG, this is important, you want to export it as a Scan and Cut FCM. And then you save it. Now, if you have a USB attached to your computer at the time, you can save it to the USB. If you have a wireless USB that you have set up on your Brother Scan and Cut, as I have, you can save it to your desktop and then move it via the browser to the wireless USB. And I did give directions for doing that in my other video. Basically, that is all you have to do. So you print your image off where you want it to be, but you move your cut lines up 4 millimeters and to the left 1 millimeter. Save the file and then send it to your cutting machine. And all you need to do is make sure that the top left corner of your paper is in the top left corner of your cutting mat, as you usually probably do anyway, but match it up with that top left corner. When you go to your cutter, you go to your home page and then you go to Retrieve and you click on the USB symbol, and it comes up in your choice of files that you can import, and you just open it up as you do normally and cut it. It is as simple as that. If you don't want to use Canvas to do a print and cut, you don't have to. Now, this is of particular interest to those people who have a CM machine, because you cannot buy the print to cut card in any case. And for those who don't want to buy a card, can't afford a card or whatever, it's another way of doing it. If you want to, you can buy a wireless USB. I did the video on the SanDisk one, and apparently they are on eBay for about $10 or just under £10. And if you buy them on Amazon, they are excruciatingly expensive. So I did put the eBay links on the information underneath the video. So if you want to get a wireless one, you can. Now, the wireless ones, as I explained, use a browser to get information from your laptop or your desktop to the wireless USB. However, if you have an iPad or a tablet that you can use various softwares with, you can export SVGs directly from your iPad to your cutting machine. If you do it a few times, you get so used to it, you don't even think twice about it. Now, this means you can do all sorts of things like labels, you can do cutouts of words and things like that. In Canvas, if you want to cut something which has interior cuts, if you want to do a trace for that, you need to buy the premium trace function, because normally it will only do the outside lines. With SureCutsALot, it does the outside lines, the inside lines, any lines that you want it to do, and you don't pay extra for it. SureCutsALot costs somewhere in the region of about $50 for the full program, and it's a pretty good program for that kind of money. And I'm not paid by SureCutsALot. I don't gain anything if you buy it. So it's entirely your choice. I just make these videos so you have a choice. You can take the information and do with it what you wish. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon. Take care now.